North America, on plains as wide as the sea, where the wind swirls through the dry yellow grass. Thousands of bison move slowly in heavy black masses. Their footsteps create a deep, dull sound, like a drum beat echoing from the distant past. This is an animal that was once on the verge of disappearing from the planet. But now, they're back, stronger than ever. There are about 500,000 bison living across North America. They are widely distributed, from Montana, South Dakota, Wyoming, Nebraska to Alberta, Canada. Montana alone has over 130,000. Most live in semi-natural areas, interspersed between forests and pastures. In strictly managed reserves, densities can reach 10 animals per km squared, an astonishing number for a large animal. The North American bison, also known as bison, a true icon of the prairie. An adult weighs between 700 and 900 kilograms. Thick fur, high hunched shoulders, large head, curved and strong horns. They are powerful enough to break wooden stakes or flip off all-terrain vehicles when threatened. They can run at speeds of up to 55 kilometers per hour, faster than an athlete. Don't let their slowness fool you. They are extremely alert, reacting quickly and sensitively to every change in the wind. Just the slightest noise, the whole herd changes direction immediately. Hundreds of bodies weighing tons roll across the grassland. The sound echoes like thunder in the forest. They live in large herds, from 30 to over 200, depending on the season and the grasslands. Spring comes. When the rains have passed, the new grass begins to grow. The herd moves constantly, traveling dozens of kilometers a day in search of water and food. The buffalo herd grew too fast. They ate all the grass, trampled the fields, broke the fences. Then it flooded into farmland. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, in the last 5 years, damages have exceeded 60-80 million USD per year.
Whoa. Yeah, let's not mess with it.
In 2023 alone, there were more than 1,500 traffic collisions, with agricultural damage of more than 70 million USD.
Oh shit. God, did he hit him? Yeah.
Oh shit.
A huge number. A stark reminder that the species was once nearly extinct. Now it is back, strong, wild, and out of control. The balance between humans and nature has never been so fragile. From wild icon to $80 million a year agricultural threat, do you think humans can control it? Comment your thoughts. The danger is not just physical damage. Bison are aggressive when threatened. They can attack humans if they feel cornered. An incident in July 2024 is a clear example. A young girl named Sophia was seriously injured by an adult bison while taking pictures in a national park. The incident shocked public opinion, forcing the US government to tighten regulations and implement a population control program.
Understood. Ensure all warning signs are visible.
The severe consequences they left behind made farmers realize that, if left unchecked, this iconic species could become a new ecological disaster. No more free hunting. Now, every hunter must have a legal license and a special hunting card. Limited by season. The numbers are carefully calculated. Each area has clear quotas based on the density and resilience of the steppe. The goal is not to destroy, but to maintain the delicate balance between conservation and survival, between protecting the crops and retaining the wild spirit that has been erased by humans. Sunrise in Montana. October, cold and damp. Fog so thick it obscures the distant foothills. Temperature only 2 degrees Celsius. Wind blowing down from the Rockies, bringing a biting chill. The hunters left camp at 5 a.m. before the first light touched the ground. On the bed of a sand-colored pickup truck, a group of hunters carrying large caliber rifles like the 30-06 Springfield 300 Winchester Magnum or 338 Winchester Magnum. These have enough penetrating power to take down a nearly ton animal with a single shot. Into the grasslands south of Yellowstone. They stopped. Scopes were set. The early morning light reflected off the lenses. Every decision had to be precise. They moved slowly, crouched down into the wind, using the terrain and brush for cover. Not a word, not a movement, just heartbeats, breathing, and the deep thunder of bison footsteps in the distance. In the distance, a herd of more than 20 bison was moving slowly through the mist. The leader raised his hand to signal. The group crouched down. The hunter lay flat on the ground. The barrel of his gun was steady on a tripod.
She just moved very bad. Aim high. Yeah, got her good. smoked them.
When it reached effective range, about 120 to 150 meters. The shot rang out. Boom. Clear and decisive. The animal hit by the bullet fell to its knees, then slowly fell. The remaining herd scattered. Dust flew everywhere. The hunters stood still, their breaths mixed with the cold wind. No one spoke, just the sound of the wind blowing through the prairie and a heavy feeling in their hearts. Because they knew, every bullet fired in Montana was not just an act of control, but also a reminder of the thin line between man and nature.
I can't believe you spotted him from that far away. Oh my God! You can't even pull him up.
Each hunt is closely monitored and documented by the U.S. Wildlife Service. This keeps the bison population stable. No overshoot, no extinction. A rare management model that combines science, ethics, and practical survival. Many other countries are following suit, seeking to find a balance between humans and nature. But the debate is not over. For many, shooting a bison that weighs more than a ton is cruel. On the contrary, experts know better. If left unchecked, nature will correct itself with more severe forms of starvation, disease, and the collapse of entire grasslands. The bison remains a symbol of strength, of the wild past, and a reminder that every human decision leaves its mark on the rhythms of nature. And what about you? Do you think the bison should be preserved or controlled to protect the grasslands? Are humans helping nature balance, or are we forcing it to our will? Leave a comment, share your thoughts. Not only stopping at bison, but red foxes are also a real ecological disaster in Australia. Red foxes were introduced by humans in the 19th century to hunt animals. Now they have become a dangerous invasive species, especially in eastern and southern Australia. According to statistics from conservation organisations, the global red fox population is currently around 10–15 million individuals. Particularly in the southern hemisphere, they are an invasive species that has spread across Australia. From the dry deserts of Western Australia, across the central bush plains, to the temperate forests of New South Wales and Victoria, down to the cold savannas of southern South Australia. Small but perfect, agile, quick reflexes, amazingly adaptable. They weigh 5 to 9 kilograms, are about 90 centimeters long, with a thick tail of nearly 40 centimeters for balance and warmth. The origin of the disaster called Red Fox began with the passion for hunting of humans.
Tally-ho! Hooray! Let's ride! Let's ride!
At the end of the 19th century, when British settlers arrived in Australia, they brought the red fox with them for the simple purpose of serving sport hunting. But no one expected that the pastime of the aristocracy would open a dark chapter in the ecological history of the entire continent. In the new environment, the red fox had almost no natural enemies. The temperate climate, abundant food sources, and the amazing reproductive ability of a female that could give birth to 2 litters per year, each litter of up to 10 pups helped them multiply rapidly beyond control. Within a few decades, millions had spread across the southern and central states, from Victoria to New South Wales, destroying crops and decimating native animals that had never feared this predator. They had no need for strength. They won with adaptation and intelligence. At night, packs of red foxes crept through grasslands, forest edges, and even suburban villages, leaving behind only feathers, blood, and the screeching of chickens. No other exotic predator has caused as much damage to Australia as the red fox. Once introduced for entertainment, they have now become the continent's #1 ecological threat. According to Australian government estimates, there are more than 7.2 million red foxes living across the country, with a range stretching from southern states like Victoria and New South Wales to the arid central west. Each year, red fox packs kill about 300 million native animals, including birds, chickens, hares, small marsupials, and even rare species like bilbies and bettongs. A series of native animals that have never faced this type of predator are on the brink of extinction. Statistics from the Department of Environment and Energy show that at least 20 native species have completely disappeared, mainly due to the spread of red foxes. Not only do they kill wildlife, red foxes also cause economic damage of more than $200 million USD a year, including slaughtered poultry, lost livestock, and population control costs. They sneak into farms, dig up chicken coops, and slaughter entire flocks in one night just to satisfy their hunting instincts. What do you think when a species brought for entertainment has now become Australia's biggest ecological disaster? Leave your comments below. Ecologists call the red fox the perfect predator, compact, agile, highly adaptable, and with an excellent memory. They operate alone at night, avoid traps, recognize human scent, and even change routes when they feel they are being watched. In the middle of a scorching hot afternoon, the grasslands of South Australia seem to be smoking. The sound of off-road vehicle engines tore through the silence. the red fox hunters began their pursuit in broad daylight, working with the government's ecological control force in a giant campaign of war between humans and Australia's most cunning predator. From the sky, drones circled, scanning the ground with infrared cameras, detecting fast-moving heat spots in the bushes. On the ground, smart traps with GPS were set along the trails, waiting for the right moment. A short whistle sounded, signaling that the signal had been sent. The hunting team immediately deployed their formation, rifles raised, scopes reflecting the dazzling sunlight. In front, a red fox appeared and disappeared among the grass, its eyes shining, its body moving quickly like a trail of smoke. The hunter closed in, held his breath, tightened the trigger, bang. The bullet tore through the air, dust flew everywhere. The animal disappeared into the grass, leaving behind a faint trail of footprints leading to the trap that had been set. At the edge of the forest, 1,080 poison baits were scattered in a controlled manner, marked with GPS coordinates. A precise battlefield down to the centimetre. Everything happened quickly, neatly, and no mistakes were allowed. In the blazing sunlight, the hunt was no longer a game, but a battle to regain the right to survive on their own land. The battle between humans and red foxes had no winners, because the real enemy was not the animals, but the imbalance created by humans. Only by knowing how to stop and respect the limits of nature can humans coexist with all species in a harmonious ecosystem. This hunt has no winners, only valuable lessons. What do you think about how humans control invasive species? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the most dramatic and true survival stories. From above, the reconnaissance drone glided over the arid valleys. The infrared eye scanned continuously, recording the thermal images of each individual moving. On the ground, the hunters moved carefully. They carried tranquilizer guns, GPS, and tracking devices to track each dragon after capture. Suddenly, a giant black shadow appeared in the middle of the sunburned grassland, a Komodo nearly 3 meters long. No one said anything. The team immediately took position, one holding the scope, one controlling the drone, one holding the gun, waiting for the decisive moment. A soft pop sounded. The anesthetic needle pierced the steel-thick skin. The dragon roared, thrashed violently, then slowly collapsed. Everything returned to silence. Only the sound of the wind blowing through the yellow grass and the heavy breathing of the beast temporarily falling asleep. When mentioning Australia, people often imagine vast grasslands, sun-baked deserts, and majestic wildlife. But few people know that behind that beauty is one of the world's most severe wildlife crises. Wild rabbits, wild cats, red foxes, wild boars are scary enough, but wild camels are the most terrible threat, devastating the environment and economy. Could this seemingly harmless animal become Australia's #1 invader? In the 19th century, camels were brought to Australia as living transport machines, struggling to cross the dry desert and opening the way for inland exploration. But then times changed, trains and trucks appeared, and the camels were abandoned and set free in the desert. No longer bound, they multiplied like wildfire, turning from allies into fearsome invaders, spreading fear across this arid continent. Today, the wild camel population in Australia has exceeded 1.3 million, and if left unchecked, they can double every 9 years like a breeding storm. This expansion had dire consequences. More than 80% of the vegetation in many areas was wiped out. Native plants gradually disappeared, and indigenous people lost the traditional food sources that had sustained them for thousands of years. Not only sweeping away vegetation, giant herds of camels also monopolize water holes, wetlands and streams, rare lifelines in the arid desert. They destroy pasture fences, knock down water columns, and damage infrastructure that is the backbone of livestock farmers' survival. Faced with that danger, the Australian government was forced to make a decision to list wild camels as pests in need of urgent control, and to launch strong measures.
Good shot.
That's putting him down. Good going, boys. Oh, good shot.
The most direct and drastic solution: license hunters to hunt camels during the day, right in the middle of the burning desert. Each resounding gunshot, each heavy footstep on the hot sand signaled that the life and death battle with the giant invasive species had officially begun. Go back, we'll load, ready. A hunter's voice rang out across the parched air. Fire clear, load, stand by. Another man quickly circled around, eyes fixed on the camel's back, as wide as a plank in the desert. Camel herds gather in chaotic crowds, dust flying everywhere. Among the myriad of management measures, daytime hunting with guns has become the most popular option, both feasible and effective, making hunters the last line of defense against the threat of encroachment. These raids are usually undertaken by professional hunting teams, sometimes accompanied by licensed hunters. They carry high-powered rifles, powerful enough to take down a full-grown camel with just one fatal shot, quickly ending the animal's suffering. Daytime is chosen as the golden time, when the light clearly exposes every silhouette on the desert, helping hunters lock onto their targets with deadly accuracy. From hillsides and observation posts, shooters monitor the camels like commanders, watching every little movement through their scopes. They select the individuals to eliminate precisely, minimizing the risk of misfire and avoiding unnecessary injuries. During the day, when everything is clear under the sunlight, the hunting team coordinates radio and hand signals, dividing the area into dozens of square kilometers into an organized tracking network. In this long battle, vision and coordination between the shooters determine the outcome.
Oh, wow. Good shot.
As the rate of fire increased, accuracy began to chip away at the hot barrel. Multiple shots vibrated the trajectory, and things became more chaotic by the minute. So the hunter must consider, shoot accurately or risk a burst. In large-scale operations, helicopters become the eyes of the sky, coordinating smoothly with the ground team, firing from high altitude while guiding the pursuit. The hunt becomes a tactical symphony between heaven and earth, where every decision determines the fate of the prey and the safety of the human. This method allows covering large areas, shortening time and improving efficiency. The hunter must master long-range shooting, calculate the wind, measure the distance, and keep a steady hand. At ranges of 100-300 meters, and sometimes longer, the large caliber rifle and optical sight become allies. Each shot is filled with tension, anxiety, and determination to protect the crop. Across Australia's arid rangelands, more than 1 million feral camels roam, and if left unchecked, that number could double in just 8-10 years in a breeding frenzy. Direct economic losses have exceeded 10 million USD per year, not including control, management costs, and socio-cultural losses. Faced with such a threat, the government and federal projects have had to launch a large-scale management campaign to contain the level of destruction. Camels in Australia usually breed during the rainy season, which is around November to March, when food and water resources are most abundant. Their gestation period is quite long, about 13 months, and each time they usually only give birth to one baby. Although the reproductive rate is not as fast as rabbits or wild pigs, but with a huge population of more than 1 million, if conditions are favourable, the number can double, enough to put terrible pressure on the environment and agriculture. Hunters are forced to take action to control the camel herd's terrifying reproduction rate. On the arid fields, pickup trucks roar as they move, their tyres crushing the hot red sand. The hunter stood firmly behind the truck, rifle loaded, eyes following each giant figure running around. The whistling wind, the roar of the engine, and the pounding of his heart made for a breathless chase in the vast desert. Good shot, a decisive shout rang out. The hunters aimed precisely at the chest or head, each shot ending quickly. With large herds, they coordinated rhythmically, taking down each animal one by one to avoid panicking the whole herd. The hunt ended in heavy gunfire, both a victory and a burden on the shoulders of the land defenders. It sounds easy, but hunting camels in broad daylight is a tough challenge. The desert sun burned the skin, the rugged terrain drained the strength of each step. The camels were not weak at all. They ran fast and persistently like survival machines in the desert. If not killed, the pack will scatter in all directions, turning the hunt into an endless, tiring and dangerous chase.
It's a focus thing.
Not only is each shot difficult, the bigger challenge lies in the sheer size of the camel herds that stretch across the desert. A single raid could last for days, consuming fuel, weapons, and manpower. This pressure forces the government to calculate every penny of the budget, and at the same time call on the community to join hands. Because this is not just a hunt, but a fierce battle to regain balance for the entire continent. The giant camel lay face down in the sand just a few hundred yards away. The hunter tightened his grip on the steering wheel. The car rolled slowly, each wheel grinding the red soil, opening up a vast scene as if painted straight down to the horizon. The moment the fateful bullet rang out, the beast fell, and remorse crept into the hunter's eyes. Allowing camel hunting during the day is not only a temporary solution, but also an important step in limiting the impact of this invasive species.
Good shot.
This activity helps maintain ecological balance and utilizes meat and leather as a source of income. But as the camel population continues to increase, the question is there a more effective and humane way to control them? Do you believe that a small species can change the ecosystem? Subscribe to the channel to follow more fascinating stories about invasive species around the world.
Oh, good shot.
Huh?
Some studies have shown that buffalo numbers in many parts of Australia have doubled or even tripled in just 50 years. According to Nature magazine in 2019, the buffalo population in Kakadu National Park has exploded dramatically from about 2,000 inches, 1,960. It jumped to 1.5 million in 2014.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
The explosion in buffalo numbers not only disrupted local ecosystems, but also left a heavy mark on the global climate. Each buffalo emits methane, a powerful greenhouse gas that contributes directly to climate change. As the buffalo herd grows each year, methane emissions skyrocket like an invisible bomb that heats up the earth faster than ever. Faced with the threat of wild buffalo herds exploding and destroying the environment, Australians are forced to launch strict control measures. It is not just a normal management action, but a war to prevent this giant animal from continuing to sow danger to the global ecosystem and climate. Dawn has just broken over Australia's arid Kimberley Desert, a land famous for its giant herds of buffalo, and the stillness of the space suddenly becomes tense with excitement. In the pale light of early morning, hunters and native farmers gripped their weapons tightly, their eyes fierce. They were ready for a dangerous hunt where every step contained unpredictable danger. After hours of weaving through scorching sand dunes and tangled underbrush, they finally spotted a giant buffalo, more than 40 inches tall, with powerful curved horns. No one dared to make a move. The experienced hunters immediately applied their knowledge of the terrain and the hunting habits of this wild animal. They quietly approached, calculating each step carefully, always keeping enough distance to avoid a sudden attack that could turn the hunt into a tragedy. The decisive moment finally came. In a split second, precise shots rang out, power and concentration converged, bringing down the giant buffalo after hours of extreme tension. The atmosphere was filled with both relief and satisfaction of those who had overcome the challenge of life and death. And after each hunt, they share their experiences, skills and emotions, deepening their memories and creating stronger bonds between people, as well as with this harsh land. That is how to maintain spirit and unity in the fight with wild buffalo. To avoid being detected, the hunters must move very quietly, as silent as the night, without any unnecessary noise, because even the slightest mistake is enough to reveal their position. Hunters must coordinate closely with teammates, absolutely avoiding noise or gaps that could alert the buffalo. Patience is the sharpest weapon, silently watching, waiting for the golden moment to strike decisively. Because just one beat slower, the hunter will become prey before the fierce charge of this giant beast. A small mistake can turn the hunter into prey. Do you believe that? Comment your thoughts below. In the heat of a hunt, every little detail can mean the difference between safety and comfort. Each rifle shot is thunderous, reaching 140 decibels, enough to permanently damage hearing. Therefore, noise-cancelling headphones become a silent shield, protecting the hunter's ears from invisible damage. Not only do they prevent damage, they also help them stay focused, listen to the breath of nature, and wait for the moment to take down their prey. The sound from the rifle reverberated at a speed of nearly 1,700 meters per second, like thunder tearing through the sky, enough to numb the hunter's ears. Therefore, noise-cancelling headphones are not only a safe choice, but also a vital shield in hunting strategies.
Look at him.
But the day brings a different challenge.
Wow.
The bright light spreads across the wilderness. The sparse vegetation makes the vision seem to be swallowed up. In that moment, the hunter feels every drop of sweat rolling down, eyes straining to search for the prey, where all senses are pushed to the limit. Through binoculars, hunters observe the buffalo herd from a distance, capturing every movement and behavior. This helps them identify targets quickly, saving time and avoiding the risk of being detected by the giant beast. When hunting buffalo in Australia, hunters must have a valid hunting license. This license is usually issued by an Australian government wildlife management agency. Hunting season in Australia usually takes place in winter, from May to August. Hunting licenses have specific regulations on the number of buffalo allowed to hunt, from 100 to 200 per hunting season. These regulations were not created randomly, but were based on rigorous scientific studies of the buffalo boom. However, the wild hunting environment has more than one enemy. Hunters may also encounter other ferocious animals such as lions, the king of the savannah, where just a look is enough to make the blood run cold. In this case, the hunter needs to stay calm, not run away, and use weapons or other means of defense if necessary. From that reality, the hunter understands that entering the wild means entering a real battlefield. They must always carry a sharp knife, wear sturdy protective clothing, and most importantly, know every corner of the terrain and the habits of wild animals. What do you think about this hunt? Leave a comment below the video and subscribe to the channel to join the next hunt. But the story does not end there. Hunting buffalo with guns has sparked fierce debate. Many people object because the loud explosions not only sow fear, but also damage the fragile tranquility of the natural environment. People fear that gunfire causes stress to other species, and that hunting with guns also poses a risk of environmental pollution. The use of guns in hunting has the risk of polluting land and water and negatively affecting the ecosystem. Therefore, the government needs to tighten management and supervision. And do you support gun hunting to deal with buffalo in Australia?
You hit him? Sweet lad.
That's a shot.
Hit him again.
North America. Wild and vast land. Wind blows through deep forests, cold glaciers. Wet mud imprinted with giant paw prints. The tracks of the strong and silent bear. They are omnivorous. They are intelligent and extremely adaptable. From humid Florida to icy Alaska, black bears roam the forests and the edges of villages. Numbering more than 900,000, the number has made biologists wonder. Further north, 55,000 brown bears still dominate the mountains of Montana, Wyoming, and British Columbia. Bears traverse snow, climb sharp rocks, and scale mountain slopes. More than 1 million bears live between humans and the wild. They keep nature breathing in balance. But that line is fading. The forest retreats. The city advances. And the question remains, how long will it take for those footprints to disappear? Bears rarely appear during the day. They hide deep in the forest. As dusk falls, their real lives begin. With their super sensitive sense of smell, they can detect scents from more than 1.5 kilometers away. The bears follow each trail, walking slowly, steadily, and almost silently. They eat everything: corn, honey, wild fruits, fish, rotting meat, even animal carcasses.
Oh my god, 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 oh my god.
Yo, Abby, watch me.
I'm calm. Okay, he's huge. I'm calm. Get inside the fucking door. Oh my god.
Garage door is closed. It just opened. It can't touch the cars. It can't touch the cars.
They were ready to approach the residential area. Many people said they saw that giant black shadow standing in the middle of the garbage dump or next to the chicken coop. The yellow eyes glowed in the night like two flames observing people. An adult bear can weigh 350 kilograms. Standing upright, it is over 2 meters tall. Just one swing of its arm is enough to knock over an iron barrel, destroy a wooden cage, or knock over a calf. That strength is terrifying, but bears are not aggressive. They just need to be full and quiet. In recent years, the damage caused by bears has increased dramatically. It is estimated that there are about 1,100 bear invasions into farms and residential areas each year. Not only do they destroy barns, they also plow over crops and rummage through beehives.
Forward. They said not to stop. Start driving forward, Jacob.
In Alberta, Canada, The damage is estimated at 2-3 million Canadian dollars per year. Beekeepers, corn growers, everyone is affected. In Montana, USA, the situation is no better. Each year, the damage ranges from 1.5 to 2 million USD.
Oh no. There he goes. Oh!
About 60% of the incidents occur in the summer, when food in the forest is scarce. In 2022 alone, the total damage across North America will exceed 9.5 million USD. A figure that is up nearly 20% compared to 2019. In the beekeeping industry, bears are a real threat. Over 130 attacks on beehives have been recorded in the past year. Each incident costs between $4,000 and $6,000. Honey spills onto the ground, bees disappear, and entire harvests are lost. From 2018 to 2023, the total economic damage caused by bears has reached $45.50 million. With the damage getting worse, the Alberta government was forced to act. A population control program using licensed hunting was implemented. The goal was clear: reduce the bear population by 25% in 4 years to protect agriculture and maintain ecological balance. Do you think licensed hunting is really necessary? Leave a comment and let us know your views. The hunting season runs from April to June, when the snow melts, when the bear tracks are left in the wet mud. That time, the forest smells of earth, gunpowder, and the cold mountain wind.
Long wait this morning, eh? Next.
Hunters are only allowed to take one bear per season. They must complete safety training and identify the species beforehand.
Make sure you follow the regulations in Zone C.
Got it. Thank you, officer.
In 2022, Alberta issued more than 3,000 hunting licenses. Most were hunted with long-range rifles in harsh conditions. Morning in Alberta. The air is chilly. The valley is covered in mist. A group of hunters head into the woods. They carry Ruger, Hawkeye and 338 Winchester Magnum rifles on their shoulders. Both models are powerful enough to pierce bear hides more than 5 centimeters thick. Ahead, amidst the fallen trees, a large black bear appeared. The hunter stopped. His hand shook slightly on the butt of his gun. The scope shook slightly. Then it stopped in place. Boom! The gunshot rang out. The bear roared, staggered a few steps, and collapsed. The sound echoed through the forest. The hunters approached. The guns were still at the ready.
But I will poke you.
The animal lay on its side. The bullet wound through the left shoulder, accurate to the centimeter. A hunt ended quickly and neatly, but left a heavy feeling. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow the next hunts where humans and nature have not yet found a stopping point. After hunting with rifles, many hunting groups in Alberta choose another way, using hunting dogs. This method requires higher skills, close coordination between people and dogs. Not everyone can do it, because just a small mistake can cause the whole hunt to fail.